Have you guys ever wanted to watch anime with me? Well, now you guys can. We watch all type of anime and we do it on a nightly basis. All you guys have to do is follow me on Twitch and click the link in the description to join the Discord. With that out of the way, let's get into the intro. Alrighty, so we're on chapter 1003, Night on the Board. We actually get some interesting stuff in this chapter, probably my favorite chapter of the new year of 2021. We actually get something that's not related to, well, I guess not a fight on the rooftop, which isn't bad. But it's been expected since we've been on the rooftop now for what, 4 chapters or 3 chapters, so, but I thought it was really good. But yeah, let's get into it. Now, I kind of wish that One Piece chapters, I don't know, like My Hero, the scans, they drop like around 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock. One Piece, their scans drop like around 2 in the morning, but I go to sleep the night before and then I wake up early, like around 5:30 or 6 o'clock to do the reviews because I got school and I got to edit it before I go to class, or else, well, I'll not know what's going on in the class, but at the same time, don't know what's going on in calculus anyway. But alright, let's get into it. So the cover page is Reiju. She gives a scorpion gives Reiju the fire. This is, I guess it's kind of funny because Reiju and her poisoning, and then we have the scorpion there. So that's it for the cover page. But let's talk about what happened within the chapter. So the chapter starts off with Luffy punching Kaido. He's actually doing damage using some Ryo attacks. But here's the thing. I find this interesting. We see at the beginning, we see some wheezes. We can tell that Luffy's getting tired. So this leads me to believe he has not yet mastered Gear 4th. But at the same time, he transformed early. I think he can transform and get out of the transformation if he needs to without losing any haki, like for 10 minutes. But I think if he fights and prolongs and strains his muscles, that's when he loses the ability to regulate haki. Maybe that's it. But then, Luffy, he passes out, the air comes out of his body. And Kid's all like, well, what the heck happened? Like, he said he didn't get hit. And Logs gives him the explanation, right? And so, he said, well, I like the fact that Kid was like, well, if you did all that damage, then it's worth the risk, right? As long as he, dealt some blows. And then Big Mom's all like, oh, well, Straw Hat, you're wide open. And she goes to attack him. And then, Zoro has been the MVP. Well, not literally the MVP, but he's been having some really dope moments this entire war. And I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, he, picks up Luffy from being slashed from Big Mom. And Killer's back too. I'm actually a little bit, well, I'm not surprised, but I think that, we get a silhouette of them getting up. Maybe they'll do that in the anime, but they got knocked out probably towards the middle and the end of last chapter, and now at the beginning of this chapter they're right back up, which, like I said, it's cool, I guess, because we need them to fight 2 emperors. Law, Kid, and Killer, they can't do it on their own, but still, I think it's a little different. Okay, so then Kaido, he then uses this twister, right? And then he blows Zoro and Luffy away, eating Luffy. And then Zoro's like, hey, don't eat my captain. And then he does his dragon twister, and he was actually able to penetrate Kaido's scales. What Luffy, Law, and the other people on the rooftop, what they've been doing is using brute force and hurting Kaido from the inside. The Ryo, counter shock, and gamma knife, and things like that, right? And so Zoro, he actually penetrated Kaido's scales, and that's when, Big Mom's like, Kaido, and then they figure out that sword is Odin. Well, I think it's more Big Mom, but it just proves that Zoro's that ninja, right? And so I'm impressed. And then also Law, this is funny, and it like, because we don't see him put his hand up, be like, room all the time, right? So Law just pop up out of nowhere and just hit them with like his attacks. And I find that cool. Like, we're just chilling, Big Mom's looking around, examining, and Law just says, And then he like goes and hits her with a counter shot. I'm like, that's my ninja. So then Kaido, he counters the counter and uses a new attack called the Tatsumaki Kaifu, or the Twist of Destructive Wind. And then Zoro and everybody, they're running away. Zoro has to carry Luffy because, well, Luffy would be a dead man if, you know, he stayed put. And that's pretty much all we get from the rooftop. We get like one little panel towards the end, which I'll talk about later. But still, man, we're still 4 chapters in or 3 chapters in on the rooftop. And all Killer has done is body slam Kaido. We've seen Law, Gamma Knife, Counter Shock. We've seen Luffy use Red Rock and some other gear for the attack. We've seen Zoro use Flame Slice, Tatsumaki. We've seen Law use Gamma Knife, Counter Shock. We saw Killer do a body slam.
A body slam.
And then we cut inside of the castle, right? Like I said, I thought we would do this last chapter. I'm not upset by it. You know, I expected this. You know, there's a war going on. We have to see multiple fights. I'm a little concerned because I predicted Wano would end around October or November, but, well, at least in the manga. But I feel like we're moving rather slow. Not that that's a problem, but like at the same time, if it does, you know, end in October, November, I feel like some stuff might be rushed a little bit, and then the pacing in the anime will get even worse. And you know, people like to complain about that. But basically, when we're inside the chapter, we see Oroshi's head on the floor. Maybe he is actually dead. I personally didn't think he was dead because he has the mythical zone fruit that allows him to have multiple heads. I don't know what it's called off the top of my head, but no, because I just thought that they cut off one of the heads, but maybe because we saw the silhouette of it, maybe he's not, but maybe he actually is, because he hasn't done anything in what, like, the 15 chapters that he's been dead, or he ain't even revived yet. And then we see CP0, they're sitting below the castle because they were invited, I'm guessing by Orochi, because we saw earlier in Wano that they had a deal with Orochi. And then basically they're talking about, I think it's like a Japanese board game, right? They're basically, if you guys have seen Avatar, I'm gonna use this example because I don't know what it's called, but if you guys see, you know, Uncle Iroh, he would play Pai Sho a lot, and so they're strategically strategizing and, you know, putting black and white pieces on the board representing the Samurai Alliance, you know, with the pirates and minks and all that, and then Kaido's army in those samurai. And so they're talking about how much men they've lost on each side. I'm pretty sure the Alliance lost 400 men, and Kaido's 30,000. They've lost 3,000. And so they're, you know, going in and out. And so then they talk about how their trade partner's dead, and then Doflamingo, they bring him up talking about, you know, how defeating him, this war would be inevitable. They're talking about the possibility of Kaido and Big Mom falling here. And then he brings up talking about how the worst generation is, like, basically, it's their time, I guess. Like, this, you know, like I said, this was expected. And then we see silhouettes. I'm kind of surprised that we only saw the bottom, well, these people. It showed every member of the Straw Hat crew. We saw Frankie versus Sakatsuki, or then we saw Usopp and Nami versus, we only saw OT on there. We saw Jinbei. It didn't show him versus who's who, but we know that's who he's fighting. We saw Sanji. Sanji looks pretty freaking bruised, but obviously that makes sense because he's not fighting back against women, so that's expected. And then we saw Yamato as well, so I think that hints. And we didn't see Carrot or Wanda, so I think Yamato is going to be the next Straw Hat and not Carrot, which kind of sucks. I like Carrot. And I'm surprised we didn't see anything about Killer's crew, anything about Samurai, anything about Marco. It was just them, you know. I expected other people of the Alliance to be, I guess, over the silhouettes as he was narrating, but hey, it is what it is. And I kind of, it leads me to believe this fight is pretty much, well, not over, but we're in the climax and the final phase of the fight, because Wano has 5 arcs, right? We're in Act 3, maybe 4. Somebody correct me in the comment section. I think we're leaning more. I'm gonna lean towards 4. This basically Kaido, he transformed into his hybrid form, which is his strongest form, and we have not seen it yet. I'm guessing by the look and shock on their faces, the kid hasn't seen it yet. We know dang well Luffy didn't see it yet. And hybrid forms are a zone user's strongest form. So I think after he got cut by Zoro, that's when he finally realized he has to get serious, right? And obviously, him tanking attacks from other people, he's bleeding from the inside. He's actually taking damage. So I think he's trying to finish this now before Zoro finally uses, able to use and draw out more of endless power and his own power, maybe. That's a possibility. I think it would be kind of cool since we have no Big Mom can wield a sword. I personally think it would be cool if Zoro and her were to clash for a little bit, like him one-on-one. Maybe that's just the Zoro fanboy in me. I don't think you can take her one-on-one before you guys top in my comments saying that I said that. But it would be cool to have just a mini clash. Because I feel like all Zoro really has done, even though it's been cool, he's cut all the fire attacks. He's saved Luffy. And he's just been pretty much just throwing Emma's power around. Just be slinging the sword power around. So I think him, actually having a sword-on-sword fight for a little bit would be more interesting. But that's just my opinion. But alright guys, that's going to do it for this review. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I thought it was a fantastic chapter. Like I said, it's my favorite of the 2020 year. And I'm probably, when I finish editing it, I'm talking about editing this video, I'll probably reread it again. I don't do reviews when the official scans drop. I just read them myself because, well, I probably say pretty much the same thing, and it doesn't make sense to do so. But let me know your guys' thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. It's on the screen, and it's also in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.